The pandemic was almost over, and although the disease was still around, the restrictions for the 2022 Macy's parade were close to being back to normal, with some minimal requirements for all parade volunteers, as Macy's department store has a brand new set of decorations around their front doors, more new floats and balloons, including the debut of the Australian favorite, Bluey. There was a big changement, and that was the timing of the parade, as it would start 15 minutes earlier before the broadcast. This would be something that would impact the following year's parade. And for the day before, not just with the balloons, but spectators are allowed to see the floats being assembled for the first time, but have to go through a specific way for the entire event. But there was somebody missing for the telecast on NBC. For the first time since hosting the parade in 1995, Al Rooker had to miss out the event due to a serious blood clot he had weeks prior. He was in the hospital and had rounds of surgery and recovered for the rest of the year. So Al's second-in-command, meteorologist Dylan Dreyer, took Al's position this year, making this the only year to have this year's telecast have been fully hosted by women. However, she was just the uptown host like what Al does, but in the position he was at in his first 2 years when he started hosting the event. So Savannah Guthrie and Hoda Kotb took Herald Square on their own, as 26 songs will help them entertain them, especially one. This is my ranking of the songs of the 96th Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Okay, if you saw this coming, you know where this is going. Starting up at number 26 is What a Shock. All I Want for Christmas Is You by Mariah Carey. A few days left till the big day had arrived, and everything was almost ready until Macy's and NBC had a last major announcement that the Queen of Christmas herself, Mariah Carey, was going to be the grand finale to welcome Santa to Herald Square with her overrated hit, All I Want for Christmas Is You. Many people would call this the best parade ever because of her, but I 100% disagree on that. When I heard about this, I was not looking forward to it. There are many reasons why I hated this finale. 1. Savannah and Hoda would not shut up about her throughout the entire broadcast. 2. She takes the entire Herald Square spotlight away from Santa. I mean, look, there's no room for him on his float to get on the square. And 3. She already did this back in 2015. We did not need to hear it again with this song. And of course, we know she was lip-syncing because it's the original recording back in the 90s without the backing vocals. I think her presence and with this song is the reason I don't go back to this parade. Now, I don't know if I'm cheating on this next one because this performer doesn't actually sing, but there is a choir, so it kind of counts at number 25, This Christmas by Kirk Franklin. A big-time Grammy winner and gospel musical director, Kirk Franklin says hello to all the people at Herald Square with a choir performing This Christmas, not the one we know of. The fact that this was a parade exclusive, I believe, it doesn't have a digital release, and the fact that he doesn't sing at all is very awkward. If it wasn't for my bias on Mariah Carey, this would have been at the bottom, so he's lucky. Speaking of Mariah Carey, this performance had to be short because of her. At number 24, Santa Claus is Coming to Town by Macy's Singing Christmas Tree. It's unfortunate this performance was only 50 seconds because of that. Never mind. I will say at least next year's parade had a lot more respect for the Macy's employees. Now, let's kind of start talking here. At number 23, Moneymaker by Fitz and the Tantrums. This indie pop band returning for their second parade just in time for their fifth and recent album, Let Yourself Free, as we told to dance to track number 6, Moneymaker. We all know Hand Clap as their most popular song. This one is fun to move and sing along to, and this performance in the parade was better than what they did back in 2016, especially the right sets they did for the telecast. It's just that I had not gotten back to it. Speaking of sing-alongs, does this performance give me flashback of a series on a VHS? At number 22, Seize the Adventure by Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, and Goofy. Instead of a celebrity joining with your favorite Disney characters, they decided to take the spotlight on their own by doing a medley of songs under the title of one of their shows on the new Disney Cruise Line's The Disney Wish, Seize the Adventure, which combines We Know the Way from Moana, A Whole New World from Aladdin, and their theme song When You Wish Upon a Star from Pinocchio. Based on this performance, I got a lot of vibes back on those Disney sing-along songs, specifically the Mickey's Fun songs, and when they went to camping, to the circus, or the beach, because characters like Mickey, Minnie, and Goofy would sing to those songs instead of, like, an actual person behind it. That's what it does here. It's just that I wished, no pun intended, it was more about the cruise like Together We Set Sail instead of a mashup of other songs that we all know. And they went too much on the confetti and streamers. From the 80s to American Idol to controversies, now in the 2020s it seems to be normal, and fans are still loving her, even for her great looks. At number 21, Straight Up by Paula Abdul. Decked out in almost the similar color status of the Jenny O float, Paula Abdul comes in to perform her most popular song from her debut album back in 1988, Forever Your Girl, track number 7, Straight Up. I heard this song a lot on the radio, and I did not know it was her that she sang that song until this parade, but it still annoys me of hearing it over and over again on the radio. The parade was short, but I do understand re-recording it because she's now in her 60s, but I didn't like the auto-tune. The only thing I will give it credit for is the tap dancing at the beginning, kind of vibes of her doing that in the beginning of her music videos of that song. Uh-oh! At number 20, Temperature by Sean Paul. Jamaican native Sean Paul Ryan Francis Hernandez decided not to perform a song from his recent album, Scorcha, instead from his third album, The Trinity, back in 2005, with one of his most popular singles, track number 11, Temperature. Although a better song than Straight Up, because I don't hear this on the radio at all, it is very catchy, I will say. I just gotta ask, why did Sean just lip-sync to his audio he recorded back in 2005? He should have done like what Paula did, re-recorded for the parade. It's better than Mariah's for sure, so that's saying something. I know I am doing this in June, so I know people are saying it's too early for Thanksgiving. Maybe this song will explain us why for another holiday at number 20, Almost Too Early for Christmas by Jimmy Fallon and the Roots. For the first time ever since his parade debuted in 2009, Jimmy Fallon has a song that you could actually get, which is a holiday single he did with Dolly Parton called Almost Too Early for Christmas. However, the Queen of Country couldn't join him, so the Roots were his backing vocals, specifically Drake Trotter. A very clever song about people getting obsessed with Christmas right on November 1st, or even commercials airing before Halloween. It's not comedic like what Jimmy does on his show, more of a calmer side on him with this. I even liked his ugly sweater to represent Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas all together in one, and with the song has a nice use of his parts for the parade, feeling like a solo version by him. Now, most of the time throughout the series, songs that are parade exclusives you can't get digitally, if you're not counting like SoundCloud, specifically like in Apple Music, Spotify, or iTunes, what I'm saying here. Well, one song manages to have that available at number 18, 99 Duff Balloons and Take On Me by the cast of Pitch Perfect, Bumper in Berlin. Based on the movie series, Pitch Perfect sets up a TV spin-off show for Peacock called Pitch Perfect, Bumper in Berlin, starring Adam Devine, Sarah Hyland, and Flula Borg. That show did not last long because of the writers and actors strike. The show premiered the day before the parade, as well as the show's soundtrack, with the final track, number 17 of two songs into one, 99 Duff Balloons and Take On Me, but it has in brackets, Thanksgiving Day Parade version. Yep, this version of the song you can get digitally. High praises for allowing that, and a mashup of a German and English song was a nice touch. I love the expressions on some of the faces, especially on Falula. Although they were not involved in the Dan Schneider curse, this group has been disbanded since 2014. Now, last year they reunited, and to show us they are back together, they come back for their second parade at number 17, Paralyzed and Boyfriend by Big Time Rush. The former Nickelodeon stars have now returned to the mainstream, but for their music, as Big Time Rush does a medley of two songs, Paralyzed, and one of the most popular songs, although mixed by critics, from 2011 album BTR, track number 2, Boyfriend. On a side note, Paralyzed was a song that didn't get a proper release date during the group's original run, as it was only exclusive from the album Elevate for those who pre-ordered the album back in 2011. Now they re-recorded it, and just 2 days after Thanksgiving, they gave the song a single release. I really do love Boyfriend. That song is so fun to sing to, and their version with Snoop Dogg was better. You can thank the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards for that. I have listened to the original recording of Paralyzed that's up on YouTube, and I will say their re-recording is better. What does tick me off, it's the parade. A nice version of Paralyzed, but as soon as they started Boyfriend, we were going into commercial. That made me mad because I really wanted to hear their new re-recording of Boyfriend. A song back in 2019 went big on social media for its challenge, so let's know the dance for number 16, The Get Up by Blanco Brown. Beanie Amy III became a rising country star that year for his dancing country song The Get Up that would be added to his debut album Honeysuckle and Lightning Bugs as the final track, number 10. Never thought a song where you have to dance would be in the parade, and I think it would have been better if you have a dance group to actually do it, what Blanco said in the song, instead of those people around the float. You know what's even more mad than cutting out Big Time Rush's performance, and obviously the Mariah Carey performance, is HBO's devotion to Elmo at number 15, Best Christmas Ever by the cast of Sesame Street. This holiday season, HBO made an animated Sesame Street special called The Nutcracker, which is about Elmo making sure his dog Tango has the best Christmas ever. And like See Us Coming Together, the Nutcracker special does have an EP album, as the cast does track number 1, Best Christmas Ever. I could have put it lower, but it goes here, because it does better for the parade, and the song itself is not that bad, and nice to hear another Sesame Street song that is available digitally. As I've said before, I can't stand the Ryan Dillon album because of HBO's devotion to the character is so overused, and the song is devoted to his dog. I know it's a puppy, but with someone who has a mild allergy to dogs, and especially with cats, I don't care. Like last year, we begin with a country song once the parade arrives. At number 14, What My World Spins Around by Jordin Davis. In preparation for his second album, Bluebird Days, next year, Jordin Davis released some singles prior to it. One of them that would be later as track number 4, What My World Spins Around. Typical country song about driving and a girl again, although I will give it credit for the good use of the sets for the parade, and it's not stereotypical. What song would be good to have DJ Jeffrey the Giraffe start on his own float? Yes, at number 13, Stop This Feeling by Jordin Sparks. On her third parade, this American Idol alumni has 4 singles this year, and the only one that is not a collaboration is Stop This Feeling. Unless like I said this before with someone else, out of the artists I have covered, Jordin Sparks is the only artist here that goes in 3 different pop styles of her songs. Tattoo being traditional, Right Here Right Now being Arabian, and now Stop This Feeling in this DJ dance style. It's hard to rank those 3, but I would say this was the weakest parade performance, mainly on what sets they used for her. When she comes back, I want to know what style of pop she's going to do next. The long-running musical never got to perform in the parade until now for its 25th anniversary on Broadway. At number 12, Circle of Life by the cast of Broadway's The Lion King. The Tony Award-winning musical has been entertaining the Big Apple since November 13, 1997. And for the occasion, the current cast members do the opening number led by Rafiki, who is a woman in this musical, the Oscar-nominated song Circle of Life, our introduction to our main character Simba. Comparing the original Broadway cast recording album to the current cast is hard to compare when you're looking at the Rafikis here. Although the original one sounds better on how her performance is in a louder tone, the current one is more calmer, which makes it more beautiful. The choir sounds the same. What really stands out is, of course, the magnificent costume design and makeup here. I mean, look at all those giraffes, the zebras, the rhinoceros, and that elephant. It still looks amazing 25 years today. A legend is here. Not Mariah Carey, of course, for number 11, What the World Needs Now by Dionne Warwick. Soon to turn 82 years young, Marie Warwick gives a new version of the song What the World Needs Now, a song she originally turned down when the song was being made, from her 39th album She's Back from 2019 as the final track number 15, a song that is something we do need in today's standards. I do prefer Barry Manilow's rendition back in 2006 because of that beautiful tone he went. This version went well for the choir both on her album and the parade. It worked so well, especially for the climax of the song. After seeing a recent movie from the 50s, this musical is now giving me the context of the show. At number 10, Some Like It Hot by the cast of Broadway's Some Like It Hot. Based on the original 1935 French film Fanfare of Love, along with its two remakes, one from then West Germany in 1951, and then Billy Wilder's American remake in 1959, retitled Some Like It Hot, starring Jack Lemmon, Tony Curtis, and Marilyn Monroe, the story about two male jazz musicians witnessed a mafia murder, running away from them as they could, and the way they did it was cross-dressing as a woman to travel across the country out of Chicago during the Prohibition era, as the cast does the final number of Act 1, the title song, Some Like It Hot, as a preview before its opening on December 11th. Interesting, the story is about two men disguising as a woman in a modern musical, would stir controversy at first glance, but with one of the leads being a non-binary actor, it's not a problem, showing us there are some supporting of the same-sex community to do roles that really make sense for them to do today. And this number shows us that how really improves with the diverse cast from the original casting of the original films. The number is fine, but it's nice to hear the tap dancing again after quite some time. It did take a while for the Broadway album to be released, but as one line said it best from the story, nobody's perfect. Speaking of LGBTQ+ members in Some Like It Hot, here's one artist in a community from Australia before immigrating to America as a young woman. At number 9, Blow Out My Candle by Betty Who. Getting everyone on their feet to dance other than Fitz and the Tantrums, Jessica Newham, also known as Betty Who, had two big things that came out this year. Hosting the Amazon Prime show The One That Got Away, and then released a single that would be in her 4th album this year, Big, track number 4, all in caps, Blow Out My Candle! That main verse is so catchy and fun to dance to, and her voice is so unique, and unless I'm mistaken, I believe she did this live. Not sure about the main verse though, but the others and her saying come on, the stereos are echoing. So unlike Mariah, Betty knows how to blow a performance live. Only prevents it is maybe because of recency, which I think I wanted to mention about with Moneymaker, because I don't usually go back from this year and the following year. Well, that could be because I'm doing this series, so once I'm kind of the present, then I might be getting used to more of these songs. Something we haven't had in a long time, an instrumental performance at number 8, Hurricane Season by Trombone Shorty and New Orleans Avenue. New Orleans native Troy Andrews is well known for his iconic music, especially his trombone. I know him as the person who did all the adults in the Peanuts movie. 5 years before that film, he had his 8th album as the lead with Back at Town, and does track number 1, Hurricane Season, along with the group New Orleans Avenue. I will give him credit for re-recording it at a faster pace, so it's not the same one he recorded 12 years ago, and it's nice he got his own solo, although I prefer the hang in the album than in the parade. Also, if you watch one of my idols, Matt Brunet, aka Electric Dragon 505, this song was actually used in one of his videos already this year, at the beginning of his special review of the movie S.O.B. Wrapping up our Blue Puppies history in the Macy's Parade at number 7, On Our Way from Blue's Big City Adventure by Josh Dela Cruz. The second Blue's Clues movie set in the reboot era, Blue's Clues and You, as Josh and Blue head to New York City so Josh can audition in Rainbow Puppy's Broadway musical, and when they arrive in the Big Apple, Josh performs a number called On Our Way, which is track number 8 on the TV film's soundtrack. I still like the performance last year because of Steve and Donovan's presence, so this takes second place. I love the addition of all the dancers joining with him, especially their colorful costumes that does fit in the Blue's Clues world. The only thing I didn't like was the people doing Blue's barking sound in it. The series creator Tracy Bates Johnson, who is the voice of Blue, should have performed with Josh in the parade. Not like in a blue costume, but something to identify her that she is the voice of Blue. Bringing your family to perform is like what he did back in 2009 at number 6, Music Isn't Everything by Ziggy Marley. In 2020, Ziggy Marley released his 8th album, More Family Time, a sequel to his 2009 album when he performed the title song of the album, Family Time, back in 2009. Joining with three of his kids, he does track number 3 in the album, Music Isn't Everything. As this is a collaboration song, the featured artist of the song, Lisa Loeb, is of course not here, which did cause the parade performance to feel short, although the lyrics are fun to sing along to. So if there is one thing that Baby Shark did on his debut, was actually getting us a good song and a good artist for the float. If you get that for number 5, Crunchy Granola Sweet and Sweet Caroline by the cast of Broadway's A Beautiful Noise. Another concert musical. I thought we were done with those. Based on the life of Neil Diamond, A Beautiful Noise takes a look at his life as the cast performs 2 numbers. From Act 2, Crunchy Granola Sweet, and the final number of Act 1, Neil Diamond's most popular hit, Sweet Caroline. Also, for Crunchy Granola Sweet in the album and in the show itself, instead of being on its own, it's part of a medley with 2 other songs, Solomon and Thank the Lord for the Nighttime, with some dialogue from his second wife at the time. That part, I think they should have taken the entire medley, or just Sweet Caroline for the parade. The latter made a big highlight, especially for the crowd, and even Savannah and Hoda got the feeling of it. But I will give it credit that Crunchy Granola Sweet is the best out of the 3 numbers in that medley. I would have loved if the Broadway album was live, like On Your Feet and 6, especially hearing that crowd sing So Good so many times, like you heard a bit in the parade. Speaking of family a minute or so ago, here's a trio of a legendary Latin singer at number 4, Thankful, Doy Gracias Por Ti by Gloria Estefan, Emily Estefan, and Sasha Estefan Coppola. For her second parade, legendary artist Gloria Estefan released a holiday album called Estefan Family Christmas that is shared with her daughter Emily and her grandson Sasha Estefan Coppola. Joining with the entire family on the Balsam Hills float, the 3 sang both the English and Spanish version of the song, Thankful, which is track number 2, and Doy Gracias Por Ti as track number 15. I wish they were the ones to end the celebrity roster instead of their Christmas queen, because this song would have been a great conclusion to end the celeb roster on having both the main and Spanish version of the song together, of what Thanksgiving is really about, family, and being thankful. And with them doing both, I really want a full mashup of both the English and Spanish versions in one. This would be a radio country hit at number 3, Classic by Cam. For her second parade, Cam performs a song from her third album from 2020, The Other Side. Track number 3 got a single before the album came out, simply called Classic. First up, I love her reaction to almost falling down on the float when it was moving. This song is simply very quick, but the real highlight is, like what she did back in 2017 with her song Diane, she sang this live. Huge credit for her making this commitment of singing live twice for her performances. The obvious answer is, of course, the echoing. Here's a better opening of this song from the actual musical at number 2, Don't Rain on My Parade by the cast of Broadway's Funny Girl featuring Michele. 58 years after its original run on Broadway and later the motion picture starring Barbra Streisand, the musical Funny Girl came back for its first revival, with comedian Beanie Feldstein as Fanny Bryce, which this revival received a lot of bad reviews, on par with the revival of Bye Bye Birdie with John Stamos. The reviews called Feldstein, I believe, unless if I'm mistaken, for her to leave the show, and her first replacement ended up being Michele. Her performance was highly praised, that kind of saved people from actually going to see it. So much so that the Broadway cast recording album is with Michele and not Feldstein, as Leah and the cast opened the broadcast of the parade at the starting line and at the end at Herald Square by doing the number that was already done in 2017, the final number of Act 1, Don't Rain on My Parade. I'm glad I don't have to hear what Feldstein's version was, because Leah crushes this role, which I wonder why she wasn't chosen first. She's even unrecognizable for that role. The entire number, by the way, was fully performed in the parade, with a modification with her saying, "Hey, Mr. Macy's." And it was nice for the opening to start at the parade starting line again, although the marching band failed at syncing with the music, even though we couldn't hear the background. I already stated that Gloria Estefan, Emily Estefan, and Sasha Estefan Coppola would have made a great conclusion for the roster, but if you did want a proper song to welcome Santa that is not Mariah, then this would do it. At number 1, What Christmas Means to Me by Josh Stone, the 9th album from British artist Jocelyn Stoker with Merry Christmas Love. From Trey Trotter of The Roots to Jeanette McCurdy, and now Josh Stone does track number 3, her rendition of What Christmas Means to Me. Although Funny Girl's performance was fully complete, Josh Stone's rendition had a better impact on me because this is such a great rendition that should be on the radio during the holidays. Her voice fits perfectly with this song. The backing vocals are great, even the 2 that are in the parade. And speaking of which, I think the parade performance was excellent. On the sets they did, the perfect timing, and a great way for the song to keep going when the float is leaving Herald Square. Kind of gives me 2000s Macy's Parade vibes, making it the best song of the 2022 Macy's Parade. Thank you guys for watching. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and hit the like button. I can't believe this series is about to reach to the present. Before we do that, we've got one more year to go, and that is 2023, featuring the laziest poster ever.